This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your source for the latest Iowa ag news headlines right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, Mark Magnuson, and Andy Peterson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley.
Good day and welcome to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today is Tuesday, June 10th of 2025, and we are so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I talked with Dr. Brett O'Brien of Merck. We had a conversation at World Pork Expo at the Iowa State Fairgrounds last week about their new influenza playbook. We also have a conversation with the folks at agmarket.net for the closing markets today. First, here's that conversation with Dr. Brett O'Brien of Merck.
Of course, big topic here is swine flu and just making sure that the swine industry is prepared for that. Of course, we have not had a major outbreak of swine flu in the U.S. Tell us a little bit about just the current status of that and I guess the preparation that the swine industry has to take that on in the event that we have an outbreak.
Yeah, no, good question. I think through the years, we've just incurred more and more flu strains that have come into our farms. A lot of, I'd say the majority of breeding herds across the U.S. are influenza positive. Many are in an endemic state where they'll just live with it. But I think not realizing that the cost, that it gets incurred with that, specifically, flu itself is a respiratory disease, but it's also a cofactor for porcine respiratory disease complex. And so when you've got other respiratory pathogens layering on top, those the outcome can be, or the cost of production can be quite large. So you'll see high mortalities, reductions in gain, poorer feed conversion, higher antibiotic costs, etc. Those, of course, get maximized more so like the younger that a pig is infected with flu, which is why breeding herds that, are weaning positive pigs just creates a real big headache, I think, in the nursery period. Costing anywhere from, I think, reports like $3 to $10. More recent numbers are more in that like 5 to 10, again, based on what else you've got on board. But I think, what is nice is, so with that in mind, I feel like we're at this like critical precipice in the swine industry. We have so much flu circulating. We have so many different strains, and it's now the time to let's drive our herds negative. We've done it with PRRS eliminations, we've done it with myco, and now we've had success through the years with flu eliminations. And so what we put together to help the industry with those efforts is a comprehensive science-based approach to make a influenza playbook that producers and veterinarians can use to assess. It helps walk them through, okay, how do I, in combination with custom vaccines, biosecurity programs, and diagnostic monitoring, effectively eliminate flu from their farms within, a 2-month period. We could have negative wean pigs out the door. So the cool thing with this book is, we had external flu experts contribute to this, and it allows, there's sections in here for the planning part. What do you have on farm? How best, what's best suited for your farm, and then really prescriptive chapters that you can sit around and say, okay, if I want to be, stable and have a negative wean pig out the door, I flip to that and it tells you step 1, 2, 3, here's how we get this done. And like I said, these flu programs, when I've done it, you can have a negative wean pig within like approximately 8 weeks, which I think is much shorter time period than we have for other diseases we eliminate. So I feel like now's the moment we should really all be working on that.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when it comes to that influenza guidebook, where all is this input coming in for the strategies that are included in there? Is it just the Merck team or research in general, just kind of abroad?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So we we harnessed and leveraged our experience over time, all the learnings that we've had to make successful eliminations with customers and producers that we work with. We also utilized flu experts in the field across the U.S. that contributed to this manual, and then tried to collate, our programs over time have always continued to strengthen because we learn either pitfalls or research stuff that happens during eliminations where we learn things and incorporate changes, or if things happen on research, we make sure to adjust our protocols. So what you have in here really should have everything contemporary that has been learned on flu to be able to drive it out.
So then how do producers get their hands on this and start using that information to drive the kind of effectiveness of their own swine herds?
Yeah, I'd say just contact a Merck animal health representative, either the sales or tech service team, and we'd be happy to provide you one of these handy dandy manuals, and also help your team make sure to customize, that solution approach for your farm or systems needs. So.
Right. Well, thanks for all the information today. Is there anything else about that influenza playbook that anybody should know about today?
No. Again, if there's questions, just feel free. We're an open book, and really not to be discouraged. On the forefront, we've made this so that there's many different options depending on how things look, and again, want to help drive the momentum for folks to say enough is enough with flu, and let's turn the tide, right?
Yeah,
and drive it out. So
yeah, of course, open book, pun intended, of course, with the new playbook. So thanks again for your time, and enjoy the rest of the World Pork Expo.
Thank you, appreciate it.
That again was Dr. Brett O'Brien of Merck Animal Health. We'll go ahead and take a look at the closing market prices next, but first, here's a word from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soy Checkoff. This is Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
Welcome back to Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and we're here now with Cory Bratland of agmarket.net to take a look at the closing markets. First off, Cory, what do we see going on in the grains today?
Hey, Riley, good to see you again. Grain market had a little weakness early on, especially in the corn market after the USDA crop condition scores yesterday afternoon, up a little bit, another % to the good, excellent in both corn and soybeans, which is to be expected. We've got some good rains. We're getting some warmer temps. So for us in the Western Corn Belt, our crop is starting to kind of come along after being set back with some cooler temps. So, but probably about midway through the day, July corn futures actually started to poke a little higher, and end of the day, 4 to 5 higher on the July contract, with December corn up around close to 2 cents. Beans were up 1 to 2 on the July, and same way, unchanged to up a penny or so on the November beans. With wheat markets a little lower, wheat prices under a little pressure. We got harvest going to get going down in Texas, Oklahoma, and into Kansas here this week. So that's adding a little bit of pressure to this wheat market here recently.
We know we're in a weather market right now as well. And before we got recording here, we were talking about we've had rain, a little bit dry recently, though. Are we close to potentially seeing any concerns start to raise in the marketplace, or are they kind of, hoping on the rains to happen this week as well?
Yeah, I mean, they're definitely we're dealing with the futures market, so we're always dealing with what's to come. So they are banking on the Dakotas, Minnesota, northern half, I would say, or northern third of Iowa to get some decent rains over the next 7 to 10 days here. We're also going to see a little bit of a warming trend and also a drier trend, kind of more, I would say, the southern half of Iowa into the northern half of Missouri, stretching over into parts of Illinois and all across Nebraska. So we'll have to see here, Riley, if that trend continues. Yeah, it's going to be very beneficial here early on, since we're early in the growing season. But if that would happen, the trend would continue here through the late half of June into early July. That could give us finally a weather market that this market could trade on a little bit.
You're good. Over in the livestock marketplace, how did cattle and hogs trade today?
Overall, pretty good. They were very choppy. It seemed like about every 15, 20 minutes, if you turn your head away from the screen, they were up and then they were down and back and forth. But, June live cattle here, end of the day, up about 7 cents. We did see August down about $1, but then we saw most of the deferreds, December on back, 30 to 50 cents higher. Feeder cattle anywhere from about $1.50 to $2 higher. And then we had lean hogs. The first couple months were up a little bit with the deferreds down just a little bit. So overall, kind of quiet. They are looking for maybe a little higher cash trade again here today. Although June futures are in delivery, they are trying to play catch up to where the current cash was traded here last week. So we're still seeing a little bit of a premium continuing on in that June contract on the live cattle.
And we know right now with the feeder cattle as well, sitting well above that $300 mark. Is that surprising that we're sitting quite at this level still, or how is that kind of weighing in on, I guess, the mindset of analysts?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we're definitely in uncharted territory with feeders and live cattle all up into new all-time highs, and it just seems like the story is that this cattle will never go down. Well, someday they eventually will, but right now everything is still very, very strong. We're still seeing, I think, these cheaper corn prices and cheaper feed prices overall is definitely keeping those feeder prices pretty well supported in here.
Right, Cory, lots of great information today. For anyone who would like to get more marketing information from agmarket.net, how can they do that?
You bet, Riley. Just head on over to our website, which is agmarket.net, and you can get a hold of us there.
Right, Cory, thanks again for the analysis as always, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, Riley.
That again was Cory Bratland of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers close through the market window at iowaagnet.com.
July corn up 5 1/4 at 4.38 3/4. July soybeans up 1 3/4 at 10.57 3/4. July soybean meal up 40 cents at 295.90. Soybean oil up 41 cents at 47.79. Chicago wheat down 7 1/2 at 5.34 1/2. Kansas City hard red wheat down 10 1/4 at 5.27 1/4. Minneapolis spring wheat down 6 1/4 at 6.16 1/4. July oats down 10 1/4 at 3.70 even. On the Merck, June live cattle up 7 cents at 227.07. August feeders up $1.50 at 313.15. July lean hogs up $1 even at 108.20. Pork cutout went unchanged at 115.75. And June class 3 milk down a penny at 18.82.
And that's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM. That also brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Also follow us on social media at Facebook, X, LinkedIn, and TikTok. And find our video content as well as previous episodes of AM PM on our YouTube channel. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to see when those videos go live. Don't forget as well our free morning, midday, and closing market podcasts, as well as the Iowa Ag Matters podcast and Pots of Potential. Find those on your favorite podcasting service at Apple, Amazon, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson, Andy Peterson, Dustin Huffman, and Ashton Jolly, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.